Let's go, everybody. Happy Monday to everyone. The draft is over. The draft craziness is absolutely completed. We're done. No more NFL draft. Wow. We made it. We made it. Oh my goodness, we made it. Figured it'd be a great time to check in with everyone, see how we are doing today. Eventful weekend, to say the least. Very eventful weekend. So how we feeling today? You know, the smoke is settled. Trey Lance is the 49ers quarterback. No Mac Jones. The 49ers have drafted and selected a bunch of offensive linemen, cornerbacks, defensive backs, running backs. Let's go, man. And from the looks of it, everyone's alive. So a big plus. Everyone is alive, as I can see. I'm checking the comments. Yep, we're still alive. We're all here, and we're still alive. Let's go. So much good stuff happened this weekend. All right, so this is what we'll do. How about we do this? I see a bunch of questions coming in. So we'll start at the top. We'll start with the first overall pick, and we'll work our way down and see where we end up. But so far, we're going to start off with the 49ers selection of Trey Lance, North Dakota State quarterback, now 49ers quarterback. How are we feeling about that? Well, we feel great. We feel great for multiple reasons. And here's the first reason. Because we just drafted a guy who already knows how to, not 100%, but understands baseline, how to run our scheme. Already knows. That was what I've been talking about all offseason ad nauseum when discussing all the prospects and why Trey Lance is such an intriguing prospect. Because go look at what he ran at North Dakota State. Go watch the tape. Go watch the play action. The dude is lethal out of play action. And guess what? Kyle Shanahan historically loves to run play action. So it's great. It's honestly a perfect match. And so part of the things that is starting to come out, including just, today, Peter King's Monday Morning Quarterback article, the interview with Rich Eisen today. Kyle Shanahan's been talking about everything that has led into the pick. And a lot of what you're hearing is a lot of this intangible. What goes into his thought process, like Trey Lance, his smarts, the way he connects with people, his vibe, his energy, all that it's coming out to be a huge reason why the 49ers went ahead and selected him at number 3. Something that I say all the time, integrity is the hardest thing to scout. It's really difficult to scout, especially from the outside, to understand who these kids are, what makes them tick, what motivates them, what do they want to do, and how do they want to be successful. And everything that Kyle Shanahan has talked about up until this point talks about Trey Lance and that intangible that he brings. His mom said the quote the best, I think, that really stuck with me. She said, "Trey, your superpower is bringing people together." And I was like, oh, dang, like right in the heart. I was like, but that's what you keep hearing. That's what you keep hearing about Trey. And as a quarterback in the NFL, you have to have that. You have to have that intangible. You have to be able to bring people together. You have to be a motivator. You have to, again, when everything's breaking down, things are going badly, you're standing in the huddle, you got all these eyes looking at you, ready for the play. They're looking at you to see your body language. They want to see how you're handling this moment as the leader. Sounds like Trey is built for this. Sounds like he will be able to handle those moments. Sounds like he will be able to mentally process his way to being a franchise quarterback. And that's the biggest thing. He's got the arm. We don't need to talk about the arm strength, the measurables, what he looks like on tape. Everyone can see what he looks like on tape. That's not the hardest part of the evaluation. The hardest part of the evaluation is the person. And we got a good person. We got a great person by all accounts, who's 20 years old. That's the wildest thing. He's 20 years old. The 49ers drafted George Kittle. He was 24 as a rookie. Deebo Samuel, 24 as a rookie. 49ers got a 20-year-old quarterback that is built the right way. He's absolutely built the right way. So I'm really excited about that. I think that's what I'm most excited about with Trey, is that he has so much growing to do. He's only going to get better and better and better each year that he progresses. So, love it. Love Trey Lance. Great pick. Second round pick. Like I said, we're going to go round by round. And so we will kind of approach the situation in that regard. But second round pick, guard, Aaron Banks. Wow. I love this kid. I'm so hyped. Might be my favorite pick of the entire draft. And I love Trey. And I love the Trey pick at 3. I don't think anyone doesn't not like that pick. But Aaron Banks is a savage. I'm talking about straight savage. I have been poring over his tape, snap by snap. The kid doesn't lose. He doesn't lose. He doesn't lose reps. He's always in the right position. He's always executing proper technique. There may be a couple times, like I'm talking about 2 or 3 times out of multiple games that I've watched of Aaron Banks where he is too fast. He over pursues. He gets to a spot too quickly and defenders undercut him. That's a problem I can live with. Aaron Banks at his size, holy crap, dude, we got a steal. Why is he there? Why was he there? Why was Aaron Banks available at that pick? I'm watching him. I'm like, this dude should be a first rounder. Why was he there? So Aaron Banks, guard out of Notre Dame, might be one of my favorite picks. He might be one of my favorite picks because he is legit and he's dominant. He's really good, man. Oh my gosh, we should be so excited. We should be so excited for that Aaron Banks pick. I know at first, caught me off guard. I'm sure it caught, a lot of you guys off guard. I didn't do the study on Aaron Banks. And, of course, when the 49ers were on the board, Trevon Moehrig was there. Azeez Ojulari was there. Guys that I really, really liked going into this process. But to see the 49ers trade back, grab Aaron Banks, now that I've had time to marinate and watch the tape, wow. Wow. Like, the 49ers need to be very happy. Like fans, we should be very happy with the state of our current offensive line. Now, I don't know if he'll be a day one starter. He'll have to compete for the spot. Right now, it's held by Brunskill. So I'd imagine it's going to be competition in camp. Day one, see what happens. But with Aaron Banks, man, he's different. He's different. The size combined with the movement abilities and just the fact that he doesn't lose. He doesn't lose reps. That's probably one of the craziest things to me that I've seen on tape. Because let's be real, everyone loses reps. Everyone has a bad rep. Everyone, gets put out of position every once in a while. Someone doesn't read the defense properly, blah, 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 blah. There's always going to be opportunities where you can miss a rep. Aaron Banks ain't missing reps, man. Like, this dude, he's on point always on point. So like I said, I'm probably most excited about Aaron Banks as a former offensive lineman, watching his combination of technique, movement skills, and size. Wow. He's really good. He's really good. He's really damn good. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I really like Landon Dickerson a lot. Of course, like Quinn. I liked a lot of the other offensive linemen that were in this class: Rad Dunes, Walker Little, Tevin Jenkins, Darisaw, Slater, of course, Penny Sewell. But Aaron Banks is nice. We like Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks is going to be a great pick. He is really going to be a great pick. So I'm beside myself. Again, when the pick happened, I didn't really know who he was. The clips that they pulled of the draft weren't great. And I was like, oh gosh, what did we just do? Did we just draft this big old offensive lineman? It's like, what did we just do? But literally, I immediately started watching. Like, I was doing the live. I immediately started watching, and I was like, I was hyped watching, like, because I was scared. I went into his tape scared. I went into his tape like, oh no, who did we get? Quinn was right there. We passed on a couple other boys. I was like, who did we get? Oh gosh. And sure enough, that's why they get paid the big bucks. That's why they get paid the big bucks to do what they do. They got a good one, and they got a real one. So he's also a Bay Area kid. He played high school in Alameda. He had over 30 scholarship offers to major D1 schools. I think when you have that many scholarship offers in high school, that's saying something about you. And sure enough, went to Notre Dame and balled out, man. I mean, I'm not joking. Like, you can count his messed up reps on like two hands, like, and that's unreal. That's unreal. He's really good. So 49ers fans should be excited about that. 49ers fans should be absolutely excited about the second round pick. And then right after that, we didn't think that the 49ers were going to be picking for some time. The next pick would have been, we picked Banks at 48, which was a trade back. And that trade was picks 48 and 121 from the 49ers to the Raiders for 43 and 230. Or I'm sorry, the 49ers got 48, 121. Raiders got 43, 230. So it's basically how that works out, if you want to look at it, is the 49ers dropped back, 5 or 6 spots, but were able to jump up almost or over 100 spots on the back end. So it's good value. And they got the guy they want, clearly. So Aaron Banks, love it. Love it. Love the trade back. It works great. You got extra value with that pick. So it makes a lot of sense. And then the 40, again, like I was saying, the next pick was at Banks is way better than Iupati. As someone who scouted Iupati and loved Iupati, I would say so. I think Banks is different. I keep saying Banks is different. You don't see guys that big who move like that. You just don't. You don't see the size. You don't see the movement skills. You don't see the mental capacity, because the dude doesn't lose reps. He's always in position. He's always in position to win. So I loved Iupati. Iupati was a power run blocker. He did not have the movement skills like Banks. He did not. The movement skills that Banks possesses are wild. Yeah, so Spiritual asked, can you do some tape of the draftees on YouTube? We'll do a film breakdown of every single prospect. So if you guys want a glimpse into the content that's coming, we're going to be doing full breakdown articles. So you're going to see the write-up. You'll see the full write-up. And then, what's up, Jake? And then you'll be able to, then we'll head over to YouTube, and then we'll do full-blown film breakdown sessions on every single prospect. So if you guys want to know your draft picks and who's on this team, we'll figure it out. Jake, I just said hello to you. Just said hello, Jake. Jake from St. Farm. Am I concerned with Trey Lance's accuracy issues? No, I'm not. Are we done signing undrafted free agents? I'm not sure. We didn't sign as many as I was anticipating. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple more people come in. But we'll see. So anyways, back to kind of talking about the draft. The 49ers, we thought they were going to be selecting at 105. They trade up with the Rams to go and get Trey Sermon. Big surprise. Big surprise. But I like it. And what they gave up was 117 plus 121, which they got from the Raiders trade. So the value that they got from that deal to get Banks allowed them to move up to get Trey Sermon for not a lot, for very minimal. When you think about the 121 was just gifted to you by the Raiders. So great value for the trade, in my opinion. And then the 49ers go up and they take running back Trey Sermon out of Ohio State. Woo! Wee! Like, that was a bit of a shocker. It was a good surprise, though. I think it was a really good surprise. 49er fans who are into the roster construction, we are aware that Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson are on one-year deals. So we understand, based on these moves, that the 49ers are starting to build for their future. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily out the door right now or this year or what have you. But I think there's going to be a healthy competition going into camp. There's tons of running backs right now. And, of course, they drafted 2. We're talking about Trey Sermon. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in camp. It sounds like it's going to be a battle in camp for some of those roster spots. But that being said about that part, just Trey Sermon, from an evaluation standpoint, I don't know if any of you guys caught that Northwestern game where he just ran all over the place, but he was stuck. He was stuck behind Master Teague for the majority of the year, who, in my opinion, is not the better back, at least from a trait standpoint, but he was kind of buried a little bit. And when he got his opportunities late in the year, wow, he balled out. He balled out, and he got to show you a little bit of everything. He was an Oklahoma transfer, went to Ohio, kind of buried on the depth chart again behind Master T, but he's violent. He's violent. So that's a little bit different style of running back than what Kyle Shanahan has typically had since he's been on the 49ers. Again, you go back. We had Alfred Morris for a little bit, Breida. You look back at some of the guys, of course, we still have Mostert, Tevin Coleman. So there are a lot of faster running backs, good speed, good vision, good cuts, which Trey Sermon does have, but Trey Sermon adds that level of physicality. He adds that I'm going to run through you or jump over you, which is really cool. He can jump straight over you. So Trey Sermon is legit, man. I think he has a bunch of untapped potential as well. And I like the value. I really like the value. In the third round, trading up, what they gave up to go get Trey, not a lot. So it's great value. The positional value of getting someone like Trey Sermon, who has the potential to become a bell cow running back, I like the value. I mean, we're talking great value. So that's a win in my opinion. And again, it just solidifies the room. Our running back room right now, where we're looking at it, we're like, there's too many good running backs in there to keep on the active day roster. That means there's going to be a good running back that isn't going to be on the team when the season comes around and the final 53 comes around. That's a good problem to have. I'd rather be in that problem. I'd rather have that problem of not having enough guys. So I'm okay. I'm okay because I believe in Mostert. I believe in Wilson. I believe that they're going to earn their spots and they're going to stick around. So it's going to be up to the other guys. It's going to be up to Trey Sermon. It's going to be up to Elijah Mitchell. It's going to be up to Wayne Gallman. It's up to JaMychal Hasty, Austin Walter. How much you guys want that spot? Competition breeds excellence. So, I'm for it. Like I said, I believe that the guys who are talented enough, they're going to win. They're going to win their spots. But it's the wild cards, man. It's the wild cards. Who's gonna show up? So we'll see. Does Wayne Gallman earn the spot? We'll find out. He's got an uphill battle. But I like Trey Sermon. In 45 games, what did he rush for? In 45 games, he rushed 455 times. But he ripped off 6.5 a carry. That's insane. That's big time. So we like that. We like that a lot. And then in the third round, the 49ers select Ambry Thomas, cornerback from Michigan. He was an opt-out guy, so he didn't play in 2020. So there wasn't a bunch of hype surrounding him heading into this year, obviously. But I need to do a lot more study on the corners. I will be honest. I've been full locked into these offensive linemen because I'm really excited about the offensive linemen that we got. But with Ambry Thomas, I see potential. Again, I don't know enough about him. I've only seen a handful of plays from him. But just based on the traits that I've seen, one of the things that I noticed right away from Ambry that is a lot harder than people anticipate is locating and tracking the ball when it's in the air. You see that in the NFL. If I'm doing lives during the game, you'll hear me yelling at cornerbacks, "Turn your head around, locate the ball, turn your head around, look for the ball. Like, I yell that all the time because it's a lot harder than people imagine. And that was one of the first things that popped out to me about Ambry is he's really good at locating football when it's in the air, which then allows him to not get defensive pass interference calls, and then allows him to make play on the ball, whether it's a deflection, pass breakup, or interception. He seems to have the traits to be able and feel really confident with himself to be able to do things like that. And part of the problem with cornerbacks is, and them not turning their heads around to look for the balls, they're so worried about being beat that they lose track of trying to actually locate the ball. So with Ambry, he looks like he brings a pretty awesome skill set. Again, I still got to really study him. I haven't done a deep dive yet, but I'm excited to. But like I said, first impression, good traits, good size. And so far I'm seeing things from a reaction standpoint that I like. So, but we'll have a much better idea of that once I dive in a little bit more. But again, another guy I've been watching quite a bit, Jaylen Moore, offensive tackle out of Western Michigan. I actually posted a video to my story of when I was at the Senior Bowl and I was walking up to the offensive line group. And literally as I'm walking up, I'm basically saying like, all right, so I'm just going to do first impression, the guys who stand out to me from a physical, just like looking at them standpoint. And I walk up and I'm like, the first guy I talk about, I'm like, this guy, I called it Central Michigan. It's Western. I got my directional schools mixed up. But the camera comes up and I zoom right in on Jaylen Moore. And I'm like, this guy looks like a friggin' beast. And turns out he is. He moves exceptionally well for his size. The fact that the 49ers got him in the 5th round, he seems like a guy who could develop a little bit more. But at 6'4", 310, seems perfect for the guard position. So I don't know. What does that, again, putting your roster construction hat on, what does that say about Laken Tomlinson? Tomlinson hasn't gotten an extension yet. So that could indicate that maybe these guys are going to be groomed to slot in to that position next year. But let's be honest. The 49ers, since Shanahan and John Lynch took over, have only drafted 3 offensive linemen. They drafted Mike McGlinchey, which is a lateral move because they were replacing Trent Brown. And then since then, they took Justin Skule and Colton McKivitz. And neither one of them fit the mold of these 2 guys that they've taken. Complete opposites. From a trait standpoint, and for the better, I would say. So Jaylen Moore, really excited. He has really good feet. I talk about feet and offensive linemen all the time. One of the quotes that Kyle Shanahan, he came out, I think it's his day 2 presser. He had said, to be in the club, you got to move a little different. And when he was talking about his club of offensive linemen, you got to move a little different. I loved that quote so much, and way more than I should, because I feel the same exact way. As an offensive lineman, you got to move a certain kind of way for me to like you, or else if you're just a big, chunky, like kind of slobby guy, I don't like that. And I don't think Kyle likes that either. And that's essentially what he's talking about in the quote, is to be a zone offensive lineman, you have to be able to have good feet. You have to be able to move quickly. You have to be able to get to the second level. You have to do all different kinds of things. So you have to move well. You can't just be big and lumbering. You have to move well. So the 49ers drafted 2 offensive linemen that can move extremely well. Extremely well. So for a zone scheme, outside zone, Run game, perfect. Beautiful. Absolutely love the Jaylen Moore pick in the 5th round as well. So, yeah, I like it. 49ers got 2 massive dudes who can move really, really well. And then, honestly, I don't know how to say his name. I think he was calling himself Didi. I'm not sure. But Lenore, I hope I'm saying that right, his last name, 5th round pick, selected at 172, the cornerback from Oregon. So I remembered him from getting toasted by Ayuk, because Ayuk, if you want to watch that tape when he was coming out of ASU, Ayuk put the burners on these boys. The Oregon defense didn't have a shot at guarding Brandon Ayuk, and he was one of the guys that they threw out there and just got demolished. But to be fair, it was Brandon Ayuk. We didn't know at the time what Brandon Ayuk was. The Oregon tape was actually something to me where I was like, oh, okay, Brandon Ayuk is different. Like, this guy is, like, I like CeeDee Lamb a lot, but I should have watched Brandon Ayuk. I definitely should have watched Brandon Ayuk more, because that Oregon tape, it showed you everything of why Ayuk was taken in the 1st round. And he showed that he was a special player. But when I look at Lenore and the tape study I've done on him so far, being 5'10", kind of a smaller guy, honestly, first thing that came to my mind was like, oh, he looks like a slot cornerback. He looks like the guy who's going to come in and play that DJ Reed role that we, had anticipated for him before he was waived with a medical concern and then picked up by Seattle. So now it looks like we got that guy to come in, who will probably be the heir apparent to K'Wan Williams. And when I watched Lenore, at least this time around, really like what I saw. He has really good hands. He's really good timing when he's shooting his hands at the wide receiver. He's really good at switching back and forth to ensure he has the best placement and body position possible. He looks gritty. He looks like he wants to get after it, and he has a good skill set. So combining it all, and after I was watching him, I was like, yeah, this guy looks like he's going to play a slot corner. Don't necessarily see him as an outside corner in the NFL. Not saying that he can't do that from what I've seen. But my first impression of watching him, I was like, oh, yeah, that's K'Wan Williams' future replacement. Because K'Wan Williams is only on a 1-year deal. And again, I know K'Wan wants to get a big deal, and he wants to get paid. So I imagine he'll get paid next year, and Lenore will look to kind of take over that spot. But moving on to the 5th round, I think I'm kind of getting the sense here that I'm going to butcher his name. Talanoa Hufanga is quickly becoming a fan favorite. He is a safety, but after watching him, I watched him before the draft, but then watching him again, my initial feeling is that Hufanga isn't going to be a safety. He might, land there. But in all honesty, when I'm watching him, I see a linebacker. And there's we've been talking about it quite a bit. Divine Diablo was a guy that we had identified out of Virginia Tech as someone who would fit this role. And Hufanga is one of those guys that can play outside linebacker. He can cover the nickel. Obviously, he has the coverage abilities to do so. But honestly, I see him kind of as that outside linebacker kind of hybrid role, more so than playing your, patrolling the deep third, doing things like that. I don't think he has the speed and all that kind of stuff. Hold on, I got some trolls in the chat. Trolls in the chat. Do I need to call the chat police? Do I need to call the chat police? Hey, take a look at that dude's profile too. He's over here talking mess. Look at his profile. Oh, good stuff. Keep talking about. So Hufanga is a guy that I really like, but I honestly see him being as like an outside linebacker. One of these dudes who can move really well from that position. But honestly, when you're looking at him as a safety, he leaves a little bit to be desired. But one of the things that John Lynch had talked about is that he's just a football player. He's just a straight up football player. And that's what I love. And I think that's what they really fell in love with him, is that he's just a dog. He's going to come out to play. He's going to hit. He's going to tackle. He's going to play with effort, play with that tenacity. And there's a role for him. It doesn't have to be safety. It doesn't have to be safety. I honestly see him as a linebacker instantly. It's like, he's a linebacker. So we'll see. But yeah, exactly. Jason said it. Hufanga, Warner, Greenlaw would be great. And you guys have to remember, at one point it was Dre Greenlaw, it was Fred Warner, and why am I blanking on his name? How am I blanking on the hot boy? Quan Alexander. So as of right now, you have Al-Shaair, Flanagan Fowles. So to me, based on the current depth, Hufanga feels like a linebacker to me. Linebacker, key special teamer, key chess piece, can play all over the place, can do all those things. So that's kind of how I envision Hufanga fitting the offense or defense, excuse me. He looks like an outside linebacker, hybrid safety in certain positions, or in the box safety. Because to be fair, Tart, when we were playing really well as a defense in 2019, Tart was in the box a lot. So I would imagine that's what they're looking for from him. So he's going to be kind of that hybrid safety linebacker, but primarily what they want to see out of him, from my understanding of how I view him, they want him in the box, and a guy who's in the box who can attack the run game, but also cover. So I think he's a good pick. And then the next pick, Elijah Mitchell in the 6th round. I was so hyped. If you guys caught the live, reaction of the 49ers selecting Elijah Mitchell, I was happy. I was real happy. And because, again, Senior Bowl bias. Oh, one of the cool things about this, though, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 of these prospects that the 49ers drafted were at the Senior Bowl. So I think that also plays a big part into the importance of the Senior Bowl. I can tell you how amazing going to the Senior Bowl was, being able to scout directly from the Senior Bowl, for me and my evaluation, was huge. So now the 49ers have selected 5 guys who were at the Senior Bowl. Now, Trey Lance didn't play at the Senior Bowl, but he was at the Senior Bowl. We found out after. Trey Lance posted a picture right after the game of him in the stands at the Senior Bowl. And we were like, oh, you son of a gun, you were here the whole time. We could have been sitting next to Trey Lance, and we didn't even know it. But Trey Lance was at the stadium, and so what that told me was Trey Lance was there doing all the in-person meetings. He was doing all the in-person interviews and things like that. He just wasn't participating in the actual practice or game themselves. But that would have been amazing if he was. But he unfortunately did not practice. But Elijah Mitchell was at the Senior Bowl, and that's exactly where he caught my eye. Watching Elijah go, you're seeing this kid from Louisiana, Lafayette, and you're like, it's not a great school, to be honest, in regards to churning out pro prospects. But that didn't stop him from jumping out to me during those weeks of practices, and was someone that I came away really liking for the exact reasons why you're seeing why he was drafted. Great vision, great speed, great cuts. The dude ran a 4.33, I believe. He also averaged 6.2 yards a carry over the 4 years that he ran with the Raging Cajuns. He scored 46 total touchdowns. 5 of those came through the air. He's good. He's really good. Like, he's better than Matt Breida was when he was a freshman, or not a freshman, a rookie. Trying to think, Jeff Wilson, he's definitely better than Jeff Wilson was when he was a rookie. Elijah Mitchell's coming in with some juice. So I'm really excited about Elijah Mitchell a lot. I was hyped. I was very hyped. I know a lot of people had a hard time with the 2 running back thing, and especially with Shi Smith being on the board still. Someone I really liked too, Demetric Felton, was still on the board. But, dude, Elijah Mitchell, man, I was so happy. I was so happy when we drafted him because he's my guy. Like, I have my guys that I come away from with this from this process, and that was one of my guys. And that started at the Senior Bowl. I talked about it. I had the opportunity to watch him stay after practice, and I was actually on the field at the Senior Bowl, and him and Chris Evans, Michigan running back, I think he was drafted by the Bengals. They stayed after, and they were just working on pass protection for like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Field's completely empty. There's no one on it. It's just Elijah Mitchell and Chris Evans working on their pass protection technique. And I was standing 2 feet away, snapping all these pictures of them because, of course, I'm right there. And I'm like, oh, look, players. And, snapping away. But then I'm like listening to what they're talking about, seeing what they're working on. Of course, it's after practice. No, they didn't have to be there. And I'm just like, wow. I was like, it's like both these guys are built the right way. And they're both guys that I really liked. Chris Evans, I'm really excited about. I think he landed in a great spot with the Bengals. And Elijah Mitchell getting drafted in the 6th round by the 49ers. Hell yeah. But like I said, now there is immense competition heading into that running back room. Okay, great. And that's the thing. You have a rookie quarterback who has the potential to start day one. And guess what? You're going to want to run the football. You're going to want to run the football a lot. A lot. Because at the end of the day, that's what Kyle Shanahan likes to do. So you would have to imagine that, I'll post all the picks. I got all the picks coming. I'm going to be posting all my Senior Bowl stuff of all these kids. I got some stuff of Banks. I got some stuff of Jaylen. I got stuff of Watkins. I got stuff of Elijah. It's coming. Don't worry. We're going to be doing a lot more written content now that we have some time to breathe a little bit. So that stuff will be coming out. But basically, so that's covers the whole, actual draft itself. And based on that, you look at the positional breakdowns. You look at the quarterback, needed, win. Trey Lance, love it, right? Aaron Banks, at first, caught off guard. Watch the tape, head over heels in love. Head over heels in love with Aaron Banks. Might be my favorite pick. You grab the other offensive lineman, Jaylen Moore. Great pick. Super good pick. You grab the two cornerbacks. One guy was an opt-out. Des Bryant said, the Cowboy. Oh, that was my favorite thing. I think that was the thing that I was like, okay, I like this pick, like right away. When Des Bryant came out and said that the Cowboys should have drafted Ambry Thomas, I was hyped. I was like, okay, I like that. That is I take that as a vote of confidence from Des Bryant on Ambry Thomas, because basically telling his team, Des Bryant's team, which is Cowboys, which is a hated rival of the 49ers, y'all messed up. Y'all messed up by letting Ambry Thomas go to our rival. I love that tweet by Des Bryant. So to me, great vote of confidence. Like I said, I got more study to do on Ambry before I give you my final thoughts and opinions on him. But I like it. I like what Lenore offers. Again, I see the role. I see where he fits. I see K'Wan Williams replacement or eventual replacement. So, and then you get the running backs. You get Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell, dude. Trey Sermon already is a dog in of himself. Then you go and get my guy. You go and get my boy, Elijah Mitchell. I'm hyped. So I love the draft. But then I also really like what the 49ers did with their undrafted free agent class. So let's talk about my favorite one first. My favorite undrafted free agent signing that the 49ers had was Austin Watkins Jr. out of UAB. Wide receiver. Oh, man. Guys, I love that pick so much. Clearly, if you've seen some of my stories and you've seen some of my coverage of the Senior Bowl, I was clearly big on Austin Watkins from that process. Again, Austin Watkins being live in person, being able to watch him ball out, I came away really liking him. Really liking him a lot. Now, he's not like the ultra traits guy and all that kind of stuff, but he has really good ability from route running to catching short to intermediate, whether it's running the longer routes of the route tree. He has the opportunity to be able to do it all. And that's what I talk about, is like he has the baseline skill set and traits to become a true number one wide receiver. Now, it's going to probably take him some time and take him a couple years to develop and get to that point. I'm not saying he's going to come out and do that right away, but I see him like when we took Richie James, I think in the 7th, I was like, oh, Richie James is making the roster. Well, Austin Watkins, I think Austin Watkins is making the roster as an undrafted free agent. I think he's making the final 53. as an undrafted free agent. Absolute steal for Austin Watkins. Again, one of my favorite players from the Senior Bowl, watching him live, watching all the things that he was able to do. Again, I was standing on the sideline for a good part of it, so I was in the mix. I could hear the sights, the sounds, the energy, the vibe. And whenever Austin Watkins was out there dusting dudes, just absolutely wrecking them, I'm hearing the cornerbacks. I'm hearing how pissed the cornerbacks are that they're getting dusted by a wide receiver out of UAB. And it was a lot of fun. And I was just like, man, I like this kid. I like this kid a lot. So I think Austin Watkins, again, real opportunity to make this roster. Not just practice squad guy. I'm talking about he has a real opportunity to challenge for the final 53. So that's a win for the 49ers. That's a big win for the 49ers to get someone that has that potential to make your final roster as an undrafted free agent. We like that. Josh Peterson, the son of former Philadelphia head coach. I thought it was interesting. Again, you just hear that. You're like, you hear the nepotism starts kicking in. And you start coming up with your own personal thoughts or whatever. But after watching him a little bit, I like him too. Like more so than I thought. I like Josh Peterson at tight end more so than I thought. If you guys remember Cole Hicatini at all, former San Francisco City Community College kid, he went to Louisville. I believe he made the roster as an undrafted free agent. He showed some promise as a wide receiver threat from the tight end position, but just it didn't work out and he didn't stick for long. Josh Peterson, from a receiving standpoint, I like it. I like it. So does he make the final 53? Probably not, but would be a great opportunity to get him on the practice squad for a year. Again, you still have Ross Dwelley, Charlie Warner. I would say Peterson looks to be a better receiving threat than Charlie Warner off the bat. Ross Dwelley, got to keep Ross Dwelley. Love Ross. He can do everything. Don't want to get rid of him. And then there's some other guys, kind of a high-profile name to go undrafted was Justin Hilliard, linebacker out of Ohio State. He had some name value to him for sure, but I kind of see him more as a special teamer, a guy that could potentially maybe crack the final roster. I think he'll have an uphill battle based on the current linebackers that we have. And again, like I said, I feel like Hufanga is going to be more of a hybrid backer. But I still have some tape study to do on Hilliard. But we'll see. What's up, Bobby? So we'll see, man. We'll see. With some of these undrafted free agents. Oh, they also got the linebacker from Kansas State as well. So we'll see. Yeah, he got paid like he's going to make the team. He got a good chunk of guaranteed money up front. And so that's part of the thing when you look at these undrafted free agents. When they get paid, and how much their contract value is worth, you look at the money that they got, because typically there becomes like a bidding war on the undrafted free agents. So then you have to give this player more money to sign with you. So typically that's how you can gauge a little bit of a team's interest in a player or an undrafted free agent is based on how much guaranteed money that they give them in their deal. And I believe Hilliard was one of the undrafted free agents who got the most. So, yep, Austin Watkins is Sammy Watkins' cousin. So, hopefully, I mean, I'm not the most fondest of Sammy Watkins, but I like Austin. I like Austin a lot. A lot of fun to watch at the Senior Bowl. Yes, running back core is nice. It's beautiful. So that was kind of a quick run through of the players that have been drafted, guys that we've signed in free agency. Oh, good point, detail. And so I know and so now that we've talked about who's been taken, let's talk about who wasn't taken. The 49ers didn't take a wide receiver at all. And we talked about it quite a bit. We felt like there was a potential for them to go after a wide receiver 3, more of a slot guy more than anything. Whereas I think Austin Watkins is more of your kind of outside wide receiver threat mold. I think a lot of fans were intrigued by bringing in, like we said, a Demetric Felton, a Shi Smith, Dwayne Eskridge, Amari Rodgers. There's so many of them. There's so many good slot wide receivers in this class. There really were. So I think initially fans were pretty upset by that the 49ers didn't go after one of those guys. I was a bit surprised. I was. But like I said during the draft, like when we realized when they took Elijah Mitchell over Shi Smith, this is exactly what I said. I said, that tells you everything that you need to know about Richie James. I said, that tells you absolutely everything you need to know about Richie James. To me, that tells me that Kyle Shanahan, the 49ers offense, they value Richie James. And they must have big plans for him because they really didn't bring in much competition to that position. Of course, they signed Sanu, but let's be honest, Sanu didn't even make it on our team past 2 weeks last season. He was already on our squad. Juwan Jennings dealing with a injury last year, basically ripping his hamstring off the bone. Didn't get to see him at all. Jaylen Hurd, it's been 2 years. We're headed into year 3. We've got of course, the infamous at this point preseason game against the Cowboys. But unfortunately, we haven't seen him since. So to me, this is huge confidence builder in Richie James, to the point where I'm grabbing and snatching as much Richie James stock in my dynasty leagues as possible. Like, I feel like, and so when I had Emmanuel Mosley on, currently starting cornerback for the 49ers, I was talking to him about, like, so who are some guys in practice that give you a lot of really good work? And of course, he said he wanted to name 3 guys. And of course, the first 2 were Ayuk and Deebo. But he's like, man, don't sleep on Richie James. Straight from Emmanuel Mosley's mouth, he said, don't sleep on Richie James. Richie James is really good, really underrated. Again, his route running, his twitch, all that kind of stuff. He said, don't sleep on Richie James. Oh, and how can I forget River Craycraft? I'm not going to lie, man. I'm not going to lie. I was a little upset with River. He came in for my boy's job, TT, Trent Taylor. That's my homie. So I was a little like, they're bringing in a boy named River to come take my boy Trent's job. How dare they? Well, I show respect when respect is due. River Craycraft looks nice, man. I'm not gonna lie. You can tell he's raw. You can tell he's extremely raw. Doesn't have a ton of experience. But River got a little wiggle. Don't get it twisted. And he's got better size than I anticipated. He's got better movement skills than I anticipated. And I could see something. I'm not going to come out here and say, like, oh, River Craycraft's going to be the next legit starting wide receiver for the 49ers. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is he did show me something where I'm like, okay, I could see you are clearly raw, but are working towards something. So, okay, we'll see. We'll see. Travis Benjamin, I'm not counting on Travis Benjamin at all. I'll be shocked to see Travis Benjamin in a Niner jersey next year. So I'm not holding my breath that Travis Benjamin will offer anything. I wasn't holding out hope that he was going to offer us anything to begin with last year. So, yeah, I don't know. And I think there's still some legitimate veteran wide receivers still available on the market. So now that the dust has settled, I would not be surprised to see some veteran wide receivers signed off the streets. So I think that's the next thing that we should look at is kind of see who's available on the wide receiver market from a veteran standpoint. Bring in someone who can win now. Play now, contribute now. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But like I said, I think the 49ers opting not to draft a wide receiver speaks more to their faith in Richie James. Now it's time to give Richie James some respect, a little bit. I think so. I think we need to. Because we've been talking about a lot of other people. We don't talk about Richie James much when we talk about the 49ers receiving core. But clearly, the 49ers think it's legit. What are my opinions on RG3 to the Niners? To me, it sounds like RG3 is trying to get a job. I don't want RG3 to mentor Trey Lance. RG3 is a better mentor for Lamar Jackson because they fit the same style. Trey Lance is just like I talked about with Justin Fields. Trey Lance is a prototypical pocket passer. It's the same. You've heard that before, right? Trey Lance is a prototypical pocket passer. He can win from the pocket. He can win from play action. He can win doing the things that are expected in advanced pro-style schemes. RG3 is a gimmick quarterback in the sense that Lamar Jackson is a gimmick quarterback. Now, Lamar Jackson is one of the most talented athletes in the NFL. So it works with him. He can make it work. But with RG3, no, we don't want you, RG3. We don't want you. to come in and mentor our new franchise quarterback. Absolutely not. Kyle didn't want you. Why would he want you again? That's a part of the quote that's a whole part of the thing that I didn't understand. Is that Kyle Shanahan didn't even want Robert Griffin III when he was the OC with Washington. He was forced upon him. So why would you bring RG3 in now? Doesn't make sense to me. So, no, I would not bring in RG3. And to be honest, you got Jimmy. You don't need an RG3 unless you let Jimmy go. So, until then, yeah, no RG3. No, thank you. Sign Terrell Owens. Yeah. We'll sign, how about we sign Jeff Garcia? We'll sign Jeff Garcia as a backup. Then he can learn. Oh, man. I don't know. When I was talking with Eric Davis, when Eric Davis came on, and we were talking about, the team and all that kind of stuff, and some of the DBs, he was talking about how he really wants Sherman to switch to safety. And he really thinks Sherman would be able to extend his career a couple more years if he switched to safety. And I would agree with that. I think we're kind of aware that, Sherman has definitely lost a step or two. And, he's one of his biggest attributes is his smarts, is his ability to read offenses. So why not put him at safety, where he can read the entire field, put everyone in the right position, call out keys, do all that stuff, where he can keep everything in front of him. Doesn't have to get worried about beating deep too much. Obviously, he'd be playing safety, so he'd have to keep everything in front of him. But I would love to see him at safety. I think that would be nice. Get Casey Hayward. That'd be nice. But also, like I said, you already have Verrett, you already have Mosley, and you have K1. So unless I wouldn't see Hayward as necessarily a starter right now. If you wanted him for depth, okay. But I don't know if he'd want that. So it'd be interesting. Yeah, I think Sherm wants to get paid. It's going to be interesting, man. I think if Sherm wants to get paid, he's going to have to kind of prove it, which is, again, hard to say sometimes when you're talking about one of the best veterans in the NFL. But again, it looks like he lost a step. Do teams want to pay top dollar for that? I don't know. But we'd love to have him back. Kyle Fuller would have been nice, but he's getting up there in age as well. And like I said, you have 3 starting cornerbacks. You have Mosley, you have K1, and you have Verrett. Now, yes, Verrett and K1 are on 1-year deals, but that's exactly why you just saw the 49ers draft 2 cornerbacks. So to me, they feel comfortable with the starting cornerbacks that they have. They drafted 2 guys to come up and be able to be developed. Hufanga is a guy that can come up and be developed, like we talked about, as an outside linebacker. He could play safety if they needed him to, but I think he'll fit more of that hybrid kind of big nickel role. as opposed to playing deep third and doing those kinds of things. Hufanga looks like an in-the-box guy to me. That's how I would play him. You're right. They're not the future. Neither is Casey Hayward. That's the point. Casey Hayward isn't the future. So why are you bringing in a guy unless you just want it primarily for depth? He's not going to – Casey Hayward isn't going to start over Mosley, Barrett, or K1. So if you're bringing in Casey Hayward, are you bringing him in just to be a high-profile depth piece? And that's what I'm saying. I don't think they do that. I think they opt somewhere else. But you never know. You never know. Hayward could be like, yeah, let's go. I want a ring. I don't care. I'll play special teams all year. And if my opportunity comes, then sure. Melvin Ingram, that'd be fun. I like Melvin Ingram a lot. He'd be good depth. Again, another guy may have lost a step, but he would just be fun, man. He'd just be fun to have. I like Melvin Ingram quite a bit. Oh, man. But yeah, so again, just wanted to hop on with you guys, kind of run through Jesse scared me a little bit there. We're talking about the draft that just occurred. We were talking about the undrafted free agents, which then has kind of trickled into the available veteran free agents that the teams might add. We're talking about how the roster's been constructed. We're talking about if there's any holes that remain, and if we see any holes, we're going to potentially add a veteran cornerback, still add a veteran wide receiver, since the 49ers didn't draft a wide receiver. So we'll see. How do I feel about the Mo Hurst and Arden Key pickups? I'll be honest. I like the Mo Hurst pickup better. I like the Mo Hurst pickup better than Arden, to be honest. But they're okay. They're okay. I think the Arden Key is let's see what we get kind of a thing. See if he can offer, some additional pass rush off the edge. He's not going to be a base down guy. So he's already kind of typically slotted into that pass rush role. And it's just going to be interesting to see how much opportunity he gets. And I don't know if everyone stays healthy. I don't see a path where Arden Key sees too many snaps. But again, we just have to have the right depth and be able to do all that kind of good stuff. Oh, hello from Iraq. Well, hello to you. That's far away from me. When did Trey Lance follow me? Trey Lance followed me this morning, right after I made that Trey Sermon post. It was funny. I saw it in real time. It's not very often that I get to see like player follows follow me in real time, but I had just went over to look at to see how the post was doing, because there's annoying social media talk. You track kind of the first minute of engagement on a post to kind of get an idea of how it's going to do. So I was just tracking that first minute of the post, and it came across that Trey Lance followed me. I was like, whoa. So that was really cool. That was the biggest win of the day for sure. Trey Lance following me today was a big W. It's a big win for the page. I remember because Trey Lance, he was in my first mock. I did mock 1.0. I took Trey Lance at 12, and I know he saw it because I tagged him. I tagged him in the story, and I know he looked at it, and I know he saw that I picked him at 12. And I kind of feel like he read the mock, and I kind of feel like that stuck with him. But I don't know. Shout out Trey though. Good looks on the follow. That's legendary. That's Trey to the Bay focus. We got him. I think we can also. I've seen a lot of Josh Gordon talk. I think we can go ahead and assume Josh Gordon will never take a snap for the 49ers. Oh, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Shanahan has passed on him multiple times. Shanahan has multiple opportunities to get Gordon, and he's passed multiple times. He's not going to get him now. No way. It's not going to happen. Trey Lance interview coming soon. That would be fire. I would love it. I'm going to give him some space, though. I know Trey's got a lot of stuff going on right now. Trey Lance has got a lot of stuff going on right now. So we will not be bothering him for an interview. There are some other guys that I do want to work on that have relationships with him to give that type of insight. But Trey's a busy man. Trey Lance is a franchise quarterback, guys. Trey Lance is a franchise quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm going to give my guy some time. I'm not going to jump in those DMs yet and be like, yo, Trey, come to a IG Live with me. Even though we would love it. Let him settle in. Let Trey settle in. We want Trey to get right for this year. We want Trey to get right for the season. He don't need to be messing with no IG pages. Throwing off his focus. So, if that ever happened, if Trey ever did a live, insane. But we aren't going to go out of our way to knock down his door for that to happen. He's a busy guy. But yeah, so the 49ers came away looking good. How much are we trusting Sanu, Benjamin, and Herb? I think we're trusting Richie James a little bit more. I'm also trusting River Craycraft a little bit more than I anticipated. So we'll see. Get Mostert on live? I would love to get Mostert on. Mostert is a legend. I'm excited for Mostert this year. I know he is feeling motivated. I'm sure out of, any one of these players on this squad right now, after watching the draft go down and everything play out the way it did, I could probably guarantee you Mostert is the most motivated. And I'm excited to see what that brings. I'm excited to see what comes out of a motivated, like Mostert's already motivated. But now there's some extra reasoning to be motivated. So I think he's gonna come out angry, running angry, So that's what I want from Mostert. I want Mostert to see these plans and be like, okay, that's how we're rolling? Okay. I'm going to make you feel me then. That's what I want from Mostert. I want Mostert to be like, all right, I see what you're doing here. I see it. I see the plans. I know what's going on, but I'll make you feel it now. That's what I want to see from Mostert. I hope Mostert comes out ready to knock dudes' heads off this year. Like, we already know how fast Mostert is. I want to see it go up a gear. Let's go, Mostert. It's time. You see it. You see what they're doing, Mostert. Make them feel you. That's the best way. Just make them feel you. So, but I'm excited. Mostert's a good dude, too, to, like, really bring on these guys and, like, show them the ropes, show them the grit it takes to make it in this league, what you have to do, you know, to get where you want to be. Sometimes you got to start on special teams. Sometimes you got to get cut 6 times before you get your opportunity. So I understand the moves. I can understand it from a roster construction standpoint, but when, you know, speaking of it from the sense that, you know, that's my guy, then you get it. He sees it. Ball out. Don't give him an opportunity. Don't allow them an opportunity to pass you up. Just take it. Use it. Let it fuel you to be the best version of yourself possible. And if we get the best version of Raheem Mostert possible, oh yeah, we're talking now. We're absolutely talking. So let's go, Heem. I'm excited because I know he ain't backing down. I know he's gonna welcome the young bucks on. He's gonna be he's a good guy. He's gonna be the mentor, but deep down, he's like, ooh, it's on, boy. So that's it. There's two guys. Two guys that I love. 2 guys that I'm big fans of. Brunskill and Mostert. 49ers put their money where their mouth was last week. Now it's up to you guys to take that on and overcome it. Again, more adversity put in front of these guys. More adversity placed at their feet. How are they going to handle it? You're going to feel sorry for yourself. You're going to be like, dang. Or are you just going to become the best version of yourself possible? So for Brunskill and Mostert, I hope we see the best versions of them coming up into this year. I really do, man. I really do. Because if we get the best version of themselves, 49ers are in good shape. 49ers are in good shape. So I like it, though. That's football. Football is built off of competition. You got to compete. And so I know these guys are fired up. I know these guys are ready. And they're going to come in ready to work. And so that's what's so exciting about this year, this draft class, with who they've gotten in. You see the spots where there's going to be competition. You see the spots where we're going to be getting better. You see the spots where they're building for the future. All right, let's put it all together now. Let's put it all together. We got a couple months before camp starts. Keep preparing, keep grinding, keep getting everything where it needs to be. And soon enough, camp will be here. And we'll get to see these boys compete. And we'll get to see who really wants it. Who really wants it. And so what I'm excited about, this might be the most fun camp in some time. Because we got key competitions at certain spots. We got young bucks coming in. Again, I would have to imagine Jimmy versus Trey is going to be a competition. It doesn't suit any coach well to just give someone a job. So I would still imagine they're going to compete. Jimmy's going to be not week one starter, day one starter in camp. And it's going to be up to Trey to go win that job. They're not going to give it to him, and they shouldn't. I love Trey. I love everything that Trey represents. But, again, we're talking about football now. Compete. Who wins it? I don't want to see anything gifted. I don't want to see anything gifted to these young guys. They got to earn it. You got some veterans who've been here and been doing it. All right, veterans, step up. You're on notice. You're officially on notice. How are you going to handle it? And that in of itself can lead itself to some great football. And so that's what I'm really excited about. I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about the competitions that are going into camp. Really excited about how these guys are going to be viewing this camp. And I think if we can get out of this camp healthy, we're in for a treat. I think if we can get out of this camp healthy, we're in for a treat. So really excited to see what happens coming here in the future. So like I said, now that the draft is over and we're done arguing about Mac Jones or Trey Lance or Justin Fields, we're going to get more heavy into actually breaking down the prospects that are on our team. So like I said, I'll be doing full write-ups on every prospect, then doing film breakdowns, all that kind of stuff. You guys are definitely going to be checking in for the O-line breakdowns because those are going to be fun. So we'll get to those coming up in the next couple weeks. But as always, appreciate everyone who tuned in for the draft coverage. And I'm sure a lot of you are really happy with how everything is going so far for the most part with the draft and undrafted free agency and all that good stuff. But we'll keep diving back into this. We'll keep digging in, and we'll keep, we're going to do a deep dive on this draft class. And we're going to get to the bottom of every single one of these players and see who we like, see what we would like to see more out of certain guys. So we'll see. So we'll see what happens. Thanks to everyone for hopping on, as always. Always keep a lookout for lives. We'll be popping on and off throughout the remainder of the off season, and we'll keep doing what we do. Until then, appreciate you guys. We'll be back soon.